Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about, is Joel from Scream 2 Chad and Mindy's father? So apparently there's an internet rumor, or theory I should say, going around. So when it comes to Mindy and Chad, basically it's like this. People have been extremely curious ever since Scream 5 as to who their father is. And normally people don't wonder who somebody's like parents are. Like when it comes to Jill, the killer from Scream 4, who's Sydney's cousin, nobody cares who her parents are. And her mom died and stuff in the movie. And people still didn't care. When it comes to Wes, we know who his mom is and we like her, but we don't care to know who the father is. Had to clear my throat. But when it comes to the twins, people are extremely curious and everything for two reasons. One, they're Randy's niece and nephew, and Randy was a big character in the first two Scream movies, and he had a cameo in the third. And second, they're half black. So that just brings all kinds of intrigue. It's kind of like, Randy's sister Martha is down for the Browns. So, at some point in time between the events of Scream 3 and Scream 4, Martha decided to hook up with a black dude and walk with a limp for over a week. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. And so we don't know if she's married, don't know if it was a boyfriend, don't know if it was a fling because the writers just won't tell us. But the simple fact is that Mindy and Chad are half black and everything. And so I've been kind of curious. I wanted to know who exactly is their father. Was it something I missed in Scream 5 or 6? Was his name ever revealed? No, it never was. And so it's kind of like, who is their dad? So I'm like, maybe the internet would know. So I Googled it and everything. And for whatever reason, a person named Joel came up. I'm like, Joel? There's only one Joel in the entirety of the Scream franchise, and that's the cameraman from Scream 2. And I'm all like, that's who the internet thinks the dad is? I'm like, why? Because he's black and everything, and he happened to survive? That would be pretty random. Just some regular black dude who appeared in the second movie only, who's not even from Woodsboro and everything, just so happened to knock up Randy's sister and made her walk around with a limp. And so I've always been curious, but I never assumed it could have been him and everything. But the internet assumes it because, it's the internet and everything. But there's speculation for it. See, apparently the actress who plays Martha Meeks, the mother and everything, somebody asked her a question on Twitter who she might think the baby daddy is. They had a bunch of pictures and Joel's picture just so happened to come up. And she liked the comment. That made fans speculate. Now, she's a celebrity. You gotta understand how celebrities think. A lot of them, like the ones I follow, no matter what you write to them, some of them will just like your comment or whatever. But they won't reply. And the reason why they won't reply, because they try not to have a bond with that of their fans, because some fans are stalkers and everything. So for the most part, like some celeb, they will just like a comment no matter what you say or what you ask and everything. They'll just like it. And that could have been just what she was doing. Just liking whatever her fans said, or maybe she thought it was funny. But, I don't take this as confirmation, because if it's not coming from the writers or like the directors and nothing like that, then you can't really believe it. Like, take the whole Mark thing in Sydney. People assume it's Mark Kincaid from the third movie. The actual writer confirmed in Scream 5, they remember that dude from Scream 3 and they decided to make it canon and everything. That those two are indeed married with kids and twins of all things. But the whole Joel thing is like, just so far fetched. Now, it is interesting because, see, one of the things that always made me wonder who the dad is because I realized something. They have a hyphenated last name. It's Meeks-Martin. And apparently, there's more speculation to it. Supposedly, Joel's last name is Martin. Now, here's the thing with this. In Scream 2, Joel had no last name. He was just simply known as Joel. And the actor name is Duncan Martin. So, for whatever reason, fans have decided when it comes to the Wiki Fandom Scream page, they decided to give him the last name Martin. I don't know how or why the writers decided to give them the last name Martin. And I don't know exactly when it was changed on Wiki Fandom and stuff. And so, like, maybe, just maybe, the writers did a Mark Kincaid and everything. Maybe they went back to the Scream movie franchise and saw how many, like, black characters were still alive in the Scream franchise. And well, there's only one. Because there's not that many black people in the Scream movie franchise before Scream 5. Before Scream 5, it was very few. Let's see, you had 3 in the second one, you had 1 in the third, so that's 4. Then you had a 5th in the 4th movie, and that's about it. And every single last one of them is dead, except for that of Joel. So maybe the writers, like I said before, pulled a Mark Kincaid and is all like, oh, he's the only surviving black person. We need diversity. The twins have been cast as black. And maybe he is the father. But they haven't confirmed it. Now, here's what's something that's very, very, very interesting. Originally, in Scream 2, there was an original script. It got leaked, so they changed stuff. Joel originally was from Woodsboro, and he was friends with Sydney in high school, and he knew Randy and all of them. That got changed. Then he was supposed to die in Scream 2, but that got changed as well. So, if we are to go by the original script, which of course is not canon, then it will make sense of how he would know Martha and everything. So, only time will tell, I guess. But here's my problem with the whole thing. If you've ever watched my channel, you know I love diversity. I'm down for the wokeness and stuff like that. It's not as evil as all these toxic internet people are making it out to be. They just want to see themselves on TV, which, from back in the 1950s was just predominantly white. And so I'm cool with the inclusion of that, of people of color, diverse people, whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's great that now in the Scream franchise, we're starting to get more and more diverse. Because like I said before, Scream 2 had 3 black people, and 3 only had 1, 4 only had 1, and 5 had none, I think. No, I'm getting something mixed up. 4 had 1. And then, then we get 5. But yeah, it's just like, it's very scarce with all the white characters and stuff. And now we're starting to get Asian characters from that one girl Mindy made out in 5. And then, of course, her girlfriend in 6, she didn't have that much of a significant role and everything. And, so it's nice to have like this inclusion and stuff like that of diverse characters. My problem is that one of the things I'm so sick and tired of seeing with diversity in modern day television is that when you do have a diverse character, I don't care if they're mixed. Because like I said, I'm down for diversity. I don't care if they're mixed. But what I do care about is if they're gonna make them mixed biracial, where are their black fathers at? That is something I'm starting to see that is missing in television and movies and stuff. Like I've been seeing a pattern, not with every show that's recently out, but with a good couple of them, you start to see the fathers are missing in their lives. But it's not just any father, it's mainly the black fathers that made these diverse characters and stuff. Now I will say back when well, I'll get that part later. Anyway, but it just boggles my mind how, like, you see the neglectful black father, which, yeah, that does happen in real life, but that could happen with any race because most males are neglectful and stuff. But, there have been a lot of television shows from back in the day that tried to rectify that. Fresh Prince did it with Carlton having his father there. Will didn't have his father, but Carlton had his, and Uncle Phil was like a father figure to Will. A show whose name I will not mention because this man is a disgusting monster and everything. But let's just say he played a doctor back in like the 80s and his wife was a lawyer and they had a couple of kids. And Theo was on that show. Rudy was on that show. You could probably guess the type of show I'm talking about. Big show on NBC with a black family. I'm not even going to mention this dude's name because he's just disgusting, but it's named after him. He was there in his kid's life, and it was important to see that. Then you have Moesha, and in Moesha, it was a predominantly black show with a black family, and then all of a sudden, towards the end, they decided to spice things up and say that the father had an affair many years ago and fathered another child. This pissed off the actress who played the mother because she said, here you have this predominantly black show, which is something unheard of in like the 90s, in the late 90s and stuff. And they try to portray the father as just another cheater and everything. And she said that was a spit in the face to black society and everything. And, and I've always kept that in the back of my mind and stuff. And I've been noticing it's been done multiple times again in television, but just a different way. Now you see the neglectful black father. And I've put these pictures up for a specific reason. Now, these are some of the shows that I've been watching in the past, 2 years or so. And they've been, of course, because we're in modern day television and it's all about being diverse and everything, they decided to incorporate black characters. But not just any black characters, biracial black characters, light-skinned people. Now, let me harper back to something I said before. I don't mind that there are light-skinned people of color on television. They're humans just like everybody else. I welcome that. But I do, and many other people do, get tired of seeing only the light-skinned people of color when it's on a predominantly white type show or network. The only time you ever see a dark-skinned person is when it's on, like, say, a more ethnic television network or a more predominantly race type show. And so when you see shows like I Know What You Did Last Summer, the television series, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Curse of the Shadows, Scream season 3, and of course whatever, Scream 5 and 6 and stuff like that. I'm probably leaving one out because I'm not in front of the computer right now. And so you notice something. It's like they go with the light skin biracial black kids. And of course, I've said this before in many older videos that this is to appeal to white people because a lot of people who are white, they don't connect with people of color and their culture because they don't know much about it, or they try to like rewrite history and everything. And so to them, many of the ones, especially the hateful ones, it burns their eyes and everything. It's like getting pepper spray in the eye. It just burns when they see like a person of color on screen, the darkness and everything. And so they won't so the network's okay, like, all right, fine. For them to accept this, we'll bring in a person of color, but we're gonna get them make it a light-skinned person. And that's something a lot of dark-skinned people get irritated of seeing because it happens a lot in television and movies, especially in Canada. And because I was like really scratching my head as a kid watching Goosebumps, and I saw these two biracial little boys, and they had two dark-skinned parents. I'm like, how is that possible? And So, and this is why they cast a lot of light-skinned biracial people in modern day television. It's happened in Nancy Drew that just recently got canceled. It has happened in the Hardy Boys on Hulu. Every time you see a person of color, they're always light skinned. And like I said before, this is to appeal to that of a white audience and everything. But then what's so frustrating is that when you do have like, these characters that are people of color on television, like I said before, where are their black dads at? And it's starting to become a recurring pattern in everything. And it's too much of a coincidence because it's happening a lot. And I mean an extreme lot. Like all these people pictured here, the dads are nowhere to be found. And so it's kind of like, okay, you took the time out to bring in these diverse characters, but why don't you show who made them diverse? Because in the one that says on the very end that says, are you afraid of the dark? Curse of the Shadows. The girl on the left, the white girl, the dude on the right, that's her brother and everything. And when they show her mother on screen, she's white. And I'm just kind of like, well, where's the dad at on the show? Because I didn't see him like nowhere. So it was kind of like, okay. Because when there's another girl on the show and she's biracially black, and I assumed the little boy was her brother, but it's not. It's the white girl. And I'm just kind of like, well, okay. So they have two different dads. So one, where are both the dads at? Because you don't see them nowhere. And you don't see neither one of them. But you especially don't see the black dad nowhere. And I'm just kind of like, well, where he at? Like they could have like showed a glimpse of him or something like that. And it's like they will have the inclusion, but they don't want to specify like how. Now, when it does come to the other girl, I said, who I thought that was her brother, she is half black and half white on the show, and that's how she is in real life. In real life, her dad is from South Africa, her mom's from Canada. And on the show, they did the reverse. They showed her dark-skinned mom, who's black, but they didn't show her dad and everything for some bizarre reason. But then let's go over to Scream Season 3. And there we have a black girl who is biracial. And then when they showed her father, I was expecting to see a black dude. But no, he's a white dude and everything. But they don't show what happened to her mother. The mother is now gone. Like, was she a neglectful mother? I can't remember what happened to her mom in the series and stuff. Is the mom dead? If the mom walked out? I don't remember because I'm trying to like get that season out my head because it's not a very good season. But switching from the neglectful father, now you have the neglectful mother. And so it's kind of like it's always that neglectful black parent. And I just don't understand that and stuff. It's really odd. And then you have I Know What You Did Last Summer, the television series that was a disaster. Here we have another biracial girl who's black, her mother who's white, but the dad was never nowhere to be found, nor was he ever mentioned. And so it's kind of like, well, what's up with the dad? Like, why did he leave or something like that? Now, the mom is not no cakewalk. She is terrible. But they do redeem her right before she dies because it shows, oh, she does care about her child and stuff. But, the thing that really bugs me is that it would be nice to see what Mindy and Chad's dad look like. Because it's starting to become a really weird occurrence in more modern day stuff where you see that neglectful black parent. And it's very troublesome and stuff. And I wonder if it's done on purpose or it's just something they just don't feel like including in because they ran out of time or something. But you can have like a picture frame. That'll be something there. At least we'll know what he looks like. And it is kind of like the whole thing with Sam and Tara. We never see none of their parents. We know what one of the parents looked like, Billy, who's white. But we don't know what Sam's Hispanic mother looked like or Tara's like, Hispanic father and stuff. So why aren't they shown and stuff like that? I don't get that. Now, a show that was modern and it didn't last that long that did this perfectly was the Anderson Parker show. I talked about the Amelia Parker show, about how it's a blended black and white family and stuff like that. You have this British black family and then you have this white American family, and both the parents divorced, and then these two parents got together, and now it's kind of like the Brady Bunch and everything. And not only that, but we know exactly what happens to the black mother in this. She died and everything. But when it comes to the white father and everything, from the white side of the family, he's still in the picture and stuff like that. Like he's still there interacting with his younger son and getting along with the new stepfather and everything. So this is how you do it right here and everything. And it shows you can have a blended family and you show them they can get along and they can have their differences, but you can have all the parents on the show. Well, of course, except for the dead one and stuff. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.